the internet. Sorry, no offense, but it's true. The Milo Yiannopoulos Show is brought to you by Breitbart.com.
Welcome back to the Milo Yiannopoulos Show. I am here with I have, what would the expression be? I've spent all my money, all my marbles. I've lost it on the first guest ever. It's never going to get better than this.
Yes.
I have peaked too soon. That's the expression I was looking for. I'm here with the legendary queen of all media, conservative firebrand, an all-around fabulous woman, Ann Coulter.
You've blown your whole budget on getting me.
We're hunched over a table in the Breitbart offices in Brentwood in LA. Yeah, it's all glamour all the time. Yeah, Breitbart News. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we have many things in common, in addition to being sassy, blonde, right-wing, and right about everything. We are also fans of the most fabulous presidential candidate in decades. We're fans of, I call him Daddy, did you know that?
Yeah, because that's normal.
I mean, it's metaphoric. See, this is the left. They always try to pathologize you. They're like, self-loathing homosexuals. Like, what's this creepy daddy thing he's got going on? I think it's sweet. Everyone's daddy to someone. My fans call me daddy, so
Whereas
I call him daddy.
I call him the alpha male version of moi.
Yeah, I guess he is. He's kind of you if you were running for president.
If I were an alpha male.
If you were an alpha male running for president, he would be you.
Yes. I mean, I say that because I see all the things the media are doing to him, and it's all the things they've always done to me.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true.
Of course, I don't send out, half-baked tweets at midnight, like some presidential candidates I could mention.
Not at all. You don't get in trouble for your tweets at all.
This is like, yes, but I'm not running for president. And moreover, I'm a little testy with our man right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I think
Daddy's annoyed you?
Our candidate is
You're mad
mental.
with Daddy?
Do you realize our candidate is mental? It's like constantly having to bail out your 16-year-old son from prison. Okay, let's move past last night's tweet.
What have you had to apologize to
You know
him
perfectly well what I'm talking. This is the worst thing he's done. I mean, the McCain thing, I would say there are really only two. Liberals would say, every day. No, everything else I could probably defend. I think, off the top of my head, most of it was them overreacting. Sure. He has been more victim than victimizer. But the McCain thing, that was it was a dumb joke. It didn't work. Oh, well, didn't kill him. That tweet last night, but let's talk about the things we like about him.
All right, fine. Well, he is
No one's voting for him for his personality. No one is voting for him.
No, that's not true. I think the gays are voting for him for his personality. I think they love the blustery alpha male. I think they do precisely like that. Slightly brittle, but also brash, oversized personality.
Brash,
he's like a camp. I mean, he is a gay icon, right? He's very camp in some ways.
As I am. See, he is the alpha male version of me.
All three of us have huge gay fan bases. Do you know what the dream is? My vision for us is Daddy in the White House. I'll do press secretary, and you can look after immigration because that's what you care about at the moment.
What a
right?
wonderful world!
Can you imagine the photos? Just this beautiful, triumvirate of blonde, beautiful. It would be amazing. Although, of course, only two of us would be natural. Trump seems to agree with pretty much everything in your book, as far as the consequences of mass illegal immigration, what we should do about
immigration, not just illegal. Don't let that word slip into your vocabulary.
Yeah. He seems to agree with everything. Are there any points of difference between, I mean, people often say about Trump that, the policy stuff can shift slightly, but he seems to be very consistent on two big things, immigration and illegals and trade. Yeah. And those two things, he's rock solid. Right. Those are the two things that his, big working class base love about him. And then some of the other stuff, the cultural stuff, the sticking two fingers up at feminists and political correctness stuff, that tends to appeal, I think, more to the middle and the upper classes, people like me,
right.
Just love going
That's the icing on the cake. But it's the issues with him.
So is there anything that he's been consistent on that you don't like, that you don't agree with?
Yeah, the jackass midnight tweets. But again,
it's kind of like when your dad's drunk and he starts yelling at your girlfriend when you get home and you're like, Dad, you don't even believe this. Why are you saying this?
But again, that's not why anyone is supporting him. I mean, he's made jokes about it himself. He was so hilarious after one of his massive victories. And he was saying, I won this group, this group, this group. People trust me most on foreign policy. They trust me most on keeping us safe. They trust me most on immigration. Personality, I didn't really win on. So
you see, he's very self-aware for a guy with a reputation for bluster and bombast and ludicrousness. I mean, he can be quite self-aware about his, about the hair and about
you have to take the bitter with the sweet, which is to say, even, the bailing him out of jail with the midnight tweets. The reason we have to put up with that is that you would have to be that crazily politically incorrect to be able to have actually fantastic common sense positions on trade, immigration, foreign policy, and so on.
And it's precisely that lack of adherence to the politically correct sort of establishment norms. This is what people like about him. It's why he's been able to open discussions about immigration when no one else did, about trade when no one else did.
I just wish it would be a teensy bit less lowbrow.
I never expected this from you. See, I love this.
I'm ticked off at last night's
trashier
tweet.
He gets, the more I love him. He's retweeted today, and I can't get enough of this. There are these memes going around because, of course, he's loved by the internet. That he's loved by 4chan and all these, and these are all my fans. They love him for some of the same reasons they love both of us. And he's retweeting these images that are like, I don't need to make implications. The pictures speak for themselves. And a picture of Cruz's wife and a picture of Melania.
That's exactly the tweet I'm talking about.
Right. And, it was tough to say.
No, you can't defend it. This is where we're bailing our 16-year-old out of jail.
No, I think you can. I think it's so outrageously funny. You've got to understand, people are so sick of this sort of earnest pearl clutching for the establishment. A presidential candidate, and not just a presidential candidate, but somebody who's probably going to get the nomination, is saying your wife's ugly and my wife's hot. I think that's amazing. That's, it might not be what we're used to seeing in, presidential candidates. It may not scream presidential material to you, but presidentiality is in the eye of the beholder. And some people are going to think, what a boss.
I love him so much on immigration, I'm not even going to argue with you. You say lowbrow, or I say lowbrow, you say amazing. Let's just talk about what he's good on. He's the only one who's going to build a wall, but please stop testing our patience on the rest of this stuff.
He is going to build a wall. He's going to work out some sort of trade tariff system to make sure that Mexico covers the cost of that wall.
Oh, totally.
In some way.
If with nothing else, all we have to do is stop sending them billions of dollars in foreign aid. People act like
that pays for the wall.
One of our mutual friends, you will know, the only one of our mutual friends who is not a Trump fan, and by the way is not coming to dinner tonight. Even he emailed me recently and said, Ann, and he's constantly bashing Trump, and it's just all the stylistic stuff. He didn't like last night's tweet, I am sure, without asking. But even he emailed me a few weeks ago and said, Ann, I don't understand. Building a wall and getting Mexico to pay for it are the simplest, most reasonable parts of Trump's plan.
Yes, they are. Of all
That's what people go crazy over.
Says, building a wall, a real estate developer saying he's going to build a border wall is not the most outrageous thing in the world. Now, you see, you like to say that, you said a minute ago that the sort of the cultural stuff is the icing on the cake.
Right.
But I wonder whether culture is taking more of a front seat in this election than economics and foreign policy. It seems to me there is a sizable proportion of Trump's fan base, of Generation Trump, particularly the younger Trump fans, who like him for cultural reasons.
Yes.
They don't necessarily actually care too much about the immigration stuff, although they love the idea of build the wall, and they like most particularly that it winds up liberals, and they love the fact that it annoys liberals. Yeah. They're probably happy to see it happen, and perhaps their parents would be affected by depressed wages from a massive illegal immigration, sure, but they primarily care about annoying liberals, and they do care about this Trump stuff. If you look at what the new media publications cover, they don't, at least they didn't until Trump arrived, they didn't assiduously cover immigration policy. They would
assiduously cover? They buried it.
Of course, but this is...
Every time it came up, they'd cut to a commercial break.
But they're talking about race, they're talking about the wage gap myth, they're talking about the campus rape culture myth. Now, young people do care about that, and they may not vote in quite the same numbers as 50-year-olds, but it seems to me there's a sizable proportion of people for whom Trump is the first candidate to fight an election culturally.
Yes.
He represents the reaction against 30 years of nannying.
Yes.
People telling you what you can do, what you can say, what you can think, what you can read, what video games you can play. Now, that's more significant in my experience with a very young fan base from doing reports on video games.
I guess I just think it's part and parcel of taking the positions that are so massively politically incorrect, and it shows you how suicidal the Republican Party has been, what pussies they have been, forcing their candidates to take suicidal positions. And why? Because their default position is groveling. Yeah. But I think it's all wrapped up in the same point. And not only that, I mean, that's why I say the fight with Megyn Kelly is fake in the sense that it is really an attack on Fox News. But he can't just go, I mean, it's too complicated to explain. Nobody knows who Rupert Murdoch is. I mean, we do, New Yorkers do. Do they know other places? But they've seen Megyn Kelly. She's the star. He needed to anathematize Fox News. He needed to let people know, I'm in a fight with this network, while still doing Fox and Friends and Hannity and Pirro and so on. Because Megyn's question to him that he was allegedly, so annoyed by, gave him not only the biggest laugh of the debate,
biggest laugh of the election.
But the best
only
answer.
Rosie O'Donnell was the best line of the whole election.
But also, the next sentence was, frankly, I don't have time for political correctness, and neither does this country. It got the most applause, and it was the most important line, and you see the rest of them slowly, like 6 months later,
like the light bulbs
they're
go
trying
on
to
elsewhere
imitate
in the room. Yeah, well, they do it with the wall. It
took them forever, though, because there's such scared little girls in pink party dresses. It took them 6 months to venture out and say, political correctness is bad. Oh, I think...
Yeah, and
I'm ducking.
In the meantime, you've had 6 months of Daddy telling jokes and retweeting memes. Do you think he's going to calm down if we get a Trump presidency? He has suggested, I think,
he'll
at
still
least
be
once.
funny, but I think he can be presidential. Drastic measures may have to be taken so he doesn't send tweets like last night. But no, he can.
He's going to get interventions from you late at night, isn't he? He's going to be like, Donald, no, delete it. Would you like to have it last refusal on his Twitter account? That would be good, right?
Oh, I want more than that. I want to take him to your urologist and get electrodes inserted into what is apparently a very large schlong. And whenever he does something like this, I want to have the button.
Now, you're the only person that I can do this with. But, since you have so many gay fans, and I know you won't be shocked by this, I have perfect cocktail. Right, I can tell. She's got her head in her hands now already. I can tell. I should
have had a stopwatch on this.
I can tell, and I think it's huge.
I've been hearing, in fact, from our dinner companion tonight.
He thinks it's huge too.
Yes, and he told me that's the assessment at the gay parties.
Yes, no, everybody thinks it's massive.
And he went through all of the presidential candidates for me from the last
Rubio,
campaign.
tiny. Kasich, like medium but curvy. I'm sorry, I'm going to change the subject. All right.
Thank you. I feel like I'm reading a late-night Donald Trump Twitter feed.
Well, I mean, you should agree to do my show. What's your advice to ordinary Republicans who are trying to fight perhaps without the tools that we have, allegations of racism and bigotry from their neighbors, from their friends, when they come out as Trump supporters and they say, I want to build the wall, I want to protect Western civilization, European culture, I don't want mass Muslim immigration from the Middle East, I don't want Mexican immigration because it hurts, it's going to hurt my local community, my dad's wages, whatever.
Right.
Now, none of those positions are racist.
No.
Is my understanding of the word. How would you advise people to respond to these charges?
I think the first response is to burst into laughter.
I'm glad you said that.
Number one. And if you are capable of recovering from just gales of laughter, then you say, talk to the maid sometime and see if she'd like a raise, because I think she would.
Yes.
No, this idea that it absolutely drives me crazy that rich people are pushing for mass immigration for their own personal interests so that they have cheap domestics and a whole battery of them, and then they have the audacity to walk around like they're Martin Luther King. No, go screw yourself.
This is interesting, because Trump says we should tax the rich and that his policies would hurt him personally a lot. You stick up very much for unexpected people. I mean, you've been bashing the rich for the choices that hurt America, for their pro-immigration policies. I try to write for, in many cases, young, white, working class communities that are lied to and about by feminists or, have their entertainment gerrymandered or taken away or whatever. Do you think that's because I want to just, before we go to break, ask you one question about the Republican establishment, particularly conservative media, which seems to me to have just spectacularly imploded over the last couple of months. Mainly thanks to Daddy, but I think it was coming anyway. I mean, we've all, I think, we both rather have suffered from this. I mean, you've parted ways with publications. I got fired from the Telegraph in England. I don't even know how many times. For saying things that I thought were just common sense. That this is just speaking to ordinary people's concerns.
Exactly what Trump is doing.
Respectable, reasonable positions that reflect the anxieties of millions of Americans or millions of Brits. And this stuff has become outside the Overton window. What is it? I mean, why are these people losing their minds so much? I don't want to I don't want to pick on any particular individuals, but it seems like a very small number of conservative commentators and journalists who are still fighting Daddy's corner, aren't terrified by him and aren't virtue signaling. It seems like virtue signaling leftwards. About what an awful populist clown he is. I mean, many friends and colleagues of ours have sort of dropped off one by one, all the big magazines. It seems like where we're sitting, this office and you and maybe one or two other people are all that's left. Is it us? Are we crazy? Are we insane?
No, I would say it is a couple of things. For the good version, to give them the benefit of the doubt, they see things like the midnight tweet.
I can't lie.
The utterly indefensible,
I want to agree
lowbrow.
with you on everything. I want to agree with you on everything because it's my natural instinct to say yes, Anne.
Coming out and saying, my wife is better looking than your wife.
But that's how men talk. Like, that's why it's.
Heidi Cruz went to Harvard Law School. It is so lowbrow. Okay, I think they don't like that. And I would say to them, in many ways, I feel their pain. Romney was an elegant person, a lovely speaker, a beautiful family, a humble person. I see all that. He couldn't survive these attacks, but I understand, and that's why I say it's part of the package. In order to have the balls to take on the entire conservative media, except, Breitbart, Drudge, me, Mickey Kaus, and 5 Talk radio hosts.
That literally is it, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to take on the entire conservative media except for those few, the entire liberal media, the entire Republican establishment in Washington, the lobbyists, the consultant class, the entire leadership.
Academia, everything. Yeah.
Okay, there are going to be some rough edges. Oh, well, we know he's going to do these 5 or 6 things. They are the most important things we need right now. That's giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I do feel their pain on that. I understand it, but I think I could talk them out of it. And I would sit them down and say, look, I'm totally clear-eyed about this. I don't like the gold fixtures either.
Oh, I do. You see, this is so. I'm so surprised.
Okay, now it's becoming clear to me why every gay person I know loves Trump.
He's fabulous. That's how we decorate our houses if we have enough money.
Well, and also blacks.
And look, the women, yes, that's absolutely true as well.
African Americans love Trump.
Well, it's the bling thing.
Finally, a white person who knows how to have fun with his money.
Exactly, right? And doesn't apologize for it like every other Republican or try to hide it or pretend to be poor. Like, what kind of a person? So Sonny Johnson. Have you met Sonny Johnson? One of our colleagues here. And she says, like, I see his name on the plane and his name on the buildings, and I want that. I want that. I don't want some Republican who rocks up pretending to be poor, like pulling out in a RAV4 outside an In-N-Out burger.
Nope, that's my background.
So in an In-N-Out burger, like, pretending he knows how to order the food and like having to have an aide kind of whisper behind him, we'll take it protein style. Because he doesn't even know what it means.
I'm sorry, Milo. It's deep in my genes. I'm from Connecticut. You could always tell the richest person in New Canaan by who drove the oldest car.
The oldest car.
That's where you get the patches on the elbows.
We have that in England too. If you're at a very smart dinner party, you can tell who the landed gentry are, the real aristocrats, because they're the ones that show up in the old bangers that barely drive and they look threadbare and they say fuck every 5 minutes. We can't
get that out of our genes. But let me just finish this. So that's the good version of it. The bad version of it is a bit of a Marxist analysis. They're getting paid to be against Trump. Everybody, in a sense, directly or indirectly, if you have a blog or a web page and you're a conservative, how do you get known? You go on Fox News. Well, how do you get on Fox News? By bashing Donald Trump. People who are viewing conservative media have no idea how much it's involved with money and who is the rich person in the background, because as you know, other than Drudge, no one's making money on the internet. A lot of these websites have a patron backing them.
And most of those patrons are not Trump supporters.
If they're open borders, well, that webpage is going to be open borders. Yeah. It's not just that. A lot of the radio networks. Yeah. I mean, one time Mickey Kaus and I were going through this actually before my book Adios America came out, because I figured it would be blacklisted because it is not for open borders. It is for choking off immigration and saving the American people.
Because before you had a period in your career where they sort of tried to pretend you didn't exist and tried to ignore.
No, that's new.
But
they used to try to destroy me. It's exactly like Trump, and that never worked.
Because you were too big to ignore while you had multiple New York Times bestsellers.
But
right?
how did people know about them? Because they would try to attack me.
Couldn't help themselves but write about it.
Right.
So this is a new thing. This hasn't happened before for you. This is a new thing with this particular book. They just don't want to talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But viewers don't understand that. There is a monetary incentive. And I mean, it would be a fantastic article. I don't know who would write it or where it could be published, going through various famous conservatives or people you think of as conservatives. Who's paying them? And it's not as direct as that.
But nobody has an incentive to write that article, because, whoever wrote that article
there are
friends. Very difficult to work.
There are friends. You don't want, but I'm telling you, well, we can talk about it off air. You look back at where the financial motive is, and it's not as directly as, a check showing up in the mail. It's, you will be shut out, you won't be published, you won't get on TV, you won't get on radio. And so a lot of it is fake.
I think that's true. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back for a short segment afterwards to get Anne's view on what a Clinton White House would look like. So a Trump? Well, a Clinton White House. If
Hillary?
If your daddy doesn't make it.
Oh, so that's not going to happen.
We'll see you after the break. Every week, the bosses make me record a short 1-minute ad so that my non-stop ridiculousness is at least justified by some revenue. This week, I want to introduce you to TrueCar. TrueCar is the ultimate location for used cars across the nation, with over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers around the country. Now, obviously, I've never set foot in a used car because I have more money than God, and why would I? But whether you want to buy new or used, TrueCar will give you upfront pricing information, discounts off the list price for used cars, and an all-round better buying experience. TrueCar allows you to see what other people paid for the car you want, so you'll be confident that you have a fair price. Using the TrueCar website or the TrueCar app, you can easily find the used car you want. It's terrible to be poor, and if you are, you should probably just stop it. But in the meantime, TrueCar could be your destination of choice for used cars. When you're ready to buy a new or a used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states. Welcome back. You're listening to the Milo Yiannopoulos Show, the only show on the internet that leaves students in hives. I'm here with the lovely Ann Coulter. Thank you so much for joining us. So let me just ask you, we've talked about Daddy. Now, unfortunately, there's, the polls are showing some unfavorability ratings for Daddy. Now, a lot's going to happen. The one thing that I think we do know in this election so far is don't bet against Trump, because every time he confounds expectations. Every time people say, well, look at the poll numbers, look who doesn't like him, he keeps winning, he keeps beating expectations. But let's suppose... as a hideous thought experiment from the nether regions, direct from hell. What if Hillary gets in? You've written a wonderful book about the Clintons already.
Bill, mostly, yes.
Yes, sketching out how that White House operated. The $100,000 to the Democrat Party if you want to sleep in the Lincoln bedroom. The various other things that you went through in that party. Hillary's role in drafting contracts at Whitewater, all that kind of stuff. Right. Some things people do know, some things people don't know. A lot of stuff people don't want to talk about.
Well, one way it'll be very different from her husband's administration is I do not think Monica Lewinsky will be working at the White House.
Or any other women. I don't suppose she cares at this point, does she?
It's not so much what she wants. What she wants to do is to pass laws that give capital punishment to law firms that do not make lots of women partners.
Yes.
But look, the primaries she's winning, it's entirely because of African Americans voting for her. It's kind of weird the way she's winning. She's winning all the states that Democrats do not have any chance to win in the general election. So that's where she's racking up the votes, in the Deep South, because she's getting 90% of the black vote in those, because that's who's voting in the Democratic primary. So one thing is, black people know when they're owed something. They don't forget.
Yes.
And so it seems to me that we're getting to a point, not only with Hillary, but with any Democrat, a Democrat president, where all of the appointments are, I mean, they're right. I mean, black Democrats will tell you they're owed something even when technically they may not be owed. They are owed something here. So I would say most of the cabinet positions and promotions, and if it doesn't work out that way, she may want to only promote her little feminist power woman set.
Yeah.
But I don't think she can.
Aberdeen types. Imagine Lena Dunham in and out of the White House.
I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be Black Lives Matter.
I mean, that's scarier in a way. Obama's obviously done less than nothing for the black community.
Right.
Things
These are going to be show positions. She's not going to do anything to actually help African Americans.
Right.
That's Trump.
Of course, and I agree completely. But having that sort of stamp of approval from the White House is going to embolden some of the race activists, the hustlers, the Al Sharpton types, the Black Lives Matter types.
Right.
That's not going to be good for America, is it?
No, and it won't be good for ordinary black Americans either. But I really do think, I have a bet running on this, and we'll see, that Trump gets a higher percentage of the black vote than any recent Republican running for office, even before Obama, or that black turnout is way down.
Yeah.
I just don't see a lot of,
black
people thinking, we've got to stop Trump. It's one thing, I'm a Democrat, I'm going to go vote for Hillary. Yeah, probably a lot of blacks will think that, but blacks generally vote 90 to 98% for the Democrats. It varies by district, but it's never below 90%. Never.
You see, this is why my dream ticket, and this is my homosexuality springing out. Once again, if it's ever really...
Wait, are you gay?
If it's ever really...
I think we got breaking news here.
Thank you. The ticket I want, the dream ticket, the unbeatable ticket for America is Trump Winfrey. Now, Trump, when he was going to run before, not this time, but before, he said, I'd love to do it with Oprah Winfrey. She's a great friend of mine. I'm sure I don't think she'd ever do it. But, 2/3 of blacks would vote for Oprah no matter what the ticket, surely.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't think they would.
Okay.
The Republicans have tried this for many years. Okay, it's not Oprah, I admit, but that's always the lure. If we run this really attractive, smart, black Republican, if we could just get another 3% of the black vote. Yeah. Nope, you don't fool them. They go out and vote for the Democrat.
Yeah.
Same thing with Hispanics, by the way. These moron Republicans, they really got to talk to their maids more often.
Let me just ask you one thing and then we'll wrap up. Surely most Americans, if they sit down and ask themselves honestly, know that the Clintons, the Clintons are basically a dirty family.
Right.
Look, why are they happy to put the Clintons back in the White House, knowing everything they must know about Bill? Now, look, Bill was kind of cool, let's be honest. He was sort of a cool dude, right? And many people...
Not cool, but he had a charisma that Hillary didn't, but your bottle of water has charisma that Hillary doesn't have.
It's yours, but either way. Look, I know that it's a completely unacceptable behavior, but for a lot of people, there's something kind of boss about getting a blowjob in the Oval Office. It's like, if I were president, I would totally get banged on the desk, I think...
Okay, you see, you are not the best spokesman for Trump right now.
Well, you just know, look, if Trump takes the White House, after he's put the marble floors, the gold taps...
Okay, this cannot go out on the internet. I'm trying to bring those people in, Milo. Everyone who was concerned about a big T going up on the White House. No, I feel their pain.
That's what I want. I want Pennsylvania Avenue to just be like the Vegas Strip. It's going to be fabulous.
Well, no, that's going to be the wall. Big gold T's on the wall. I'm down with it there.
So I'll tell you, I've got one idea, and then we'll have to wrap up. But I was going to go down to, this is an idea for a video that I might do next week, just a little show, and I wanted to go down to the wall, pick up some Mexican workers from a Home Depot, and take them down and just get started. Just get started. Start building the wall. I'm going to put in the Spanish, in the brickwork, it'll say come in legally with Trump's little okay sign. And just get on with it. Just like Arizona, Texas is difficult.
No, I'm sorry, right? but we do not want Mexicans building the wall. These are going to be good, solid American jobs.
Well, we'll see how we get on with that. One last question just before we go. We didn't quite go into it. I think we got distracted by homosexuality.
Weird how that happened. I can't remember which one of us brought that up.
I never bring it up. Why are people going to vote for this family again? Why are people happy to put this family again?
Because it doesn't matter. Because the Democrats they start before the first before the polls open, they start with, about 40% of the vote. I haven't figured it out exactly, but you get all the government workers, 90% of government workers, because, Republicans are the ones saying, you people are costing us too much. You're making more than people working in the public sector. You get certainly lots of the teachers' unions, so on and so forth. You get, again, 90% of the black vote, 80% of the 40 million immigrants we've brought in the last few decades.
And they're just going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. They vote for, okay, just tell me what symbol to vote for. It's not like we're bringing in people with a history of a constitutional democracy. They don't hear an election is coming and I must go to the League of Women Voters and evaluate the positions. Could I get the literature for, John Kasich, please? No, just what symbol do I vote for? They're used to being bossed around. So before the first vote is cast, the Democrats start with roughly 40% of the vote. And I'm just guessing that off the top of my head. The only swing voters in America are the voters that Trump is killing with. It is the working class white voters. Yeah. I mean, I and all my friends, who, by the way, aren't working class. I'm unemployed, but most of my friends are doctors, lawyers, investment bankers, comedy writers. They are 100% or 98%, and the ones who are in the 2% are my friends these days, for Donald Trump. But we are people who always vote. Yes. That's the key of the white working class that Trump is crushing with. He is getting people who haven't voted for 30 years.
Yeah, I think that's true. And, so Bret Easton Ellis said he was at a dinner party, and everybody was voting for Trump, but nobody would say it. I'm in Hollywood, and this is not my town, so I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm just out speaking to people on the street. I was in the hair salon the other day, obviously, and somebody just goes, "Hey, nice hat," and she wanted to try on the "Make America Great Again" hat, and she was Mexican, and she was like, "Oh yeah, love the guy, love him." I'm like the wait staff in the restaurant yesterday. I'm just talking to them like, "You Trump guys?" Yes, we are.
Yes,
and there was an older lady there waiting on the table. She was about 60, never voted in her life before, and she wants to vote for Trump.
No, every time I watch TV, I think, oh my gosh, can he win? Everybody's against him. Everyone I'm watching on TV, whether it's CNN or MSNBC or Fox, and then I leave my home, run into humans.
Stop looking at the TV and reading the newspapers.
And it's amazing. People you would never expect, wildly enthusiastic, including, besides the whole class, ethnic, gender thing, Democrats, liberals, think of it.
There are Sanders supporters that are going to come over when
We're
Sanders
going to
drops
have
out, right?
a Democratic candidate who voted for the Iraq War and wants to intervene and bring democracy to the rest of the world, and a Republican candidate who opposed the Iraq War.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And by the way, craziest of all, I agree with the one who
opposed
I now think, shit, was I wrong about the Iraq War? And I don't think I was. I think the problem is Obama came in and gave it away. But Obama came in and gave it away. So going forward, why would you want to keep doing the same thing? So let's say, in the neoconservatives' fantasy, Rubio had become president. We have... I don't know what countries you want. We remake Ukraine. We go to war with Russia. We go to Syria. We have a democracy in Iran. Suppose we do all that. Okay. And then they elect a Democrat and they give it all away and it all goes to crap again. It's always been a hellhole. It will always be a hellhole. No more foreign wars. Take care of America now, please.
I think that's a good place to end it.
Let's end it there and go to dinner.
Let's do it. Ann Coulter, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Milo Yiannopoulos Show, the podcast that launched 1,000 therapy sessions for triggered snowflakes. Thanks for tuning in, and please do subscribe on iTunes, leave us a comment, a rating, whatever you like. Our producer is Alan Bakari. Our researchers are Will Ross and Michael Poole. Our resident German, Mark Geppert, ensures the trains run on time. And our sound engineer, John Fitch, can be found at sturbridgesound.com. Download new episodes of the Milo Yiannopoulos Show at podcast1.com, and you can also listen to us at Breitbart.
Stay tuned for 60-second AP News headlines.